Alright guys, thank you all for coming to my presentation on renewable energy. I hope you guys enjoy it, and at the end if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. And I chose to do my presentation on renewable energy because I know how important energy is nowadays in our economy, and we pretty much use energy in all the everyday activities, so it's very crucial. And I would just like to present some facts to you guys. These are just facts that I just gathered from the online, so bear with me. I have right here, it says more than 85% of the world's energy is non-renewable. And then the sources comes in all different shapes and forms, from liquid to solid to gases. And these are some of the solid liquid forms. This is, you guys know oil is one of the main sources of our energy. And it says right here, the United States go through over 25 billion barrels a year. And it uses mainly transportation, from airplanes to cars to trains. And some of the negative effects, with oil comes carbon dioxide, which pretty much adds on to the greenhouse gases, which ultimately causes global warming. And also with carbon monoxide, you also have carbon monoxide, which causes acid rain. And with the natural gases, it says right here, more than 25% of the U.S. uses natural gases, and that goes into industry and producing steel. And also we have our everyday glass and paper, and also explosives. And some of the negative effects with natural gases are areas being exploited for natural gases, which leads to depleted landscapes. And also, okay, that's it for the negative effects. And one of the third forms of non-renewable energy is coal, which since its discoveries, since the Industrial Revolution, it's pretty much been the main use in electricity. It says right here, 94% of electricity from the U.S. comes from coal. And some of the negative effects with that is the coal mining leads to bad water quality, and also mining also changes the landscapes. And overall, it's bad for the ecosystem, for other habitat. And on the fourth one, is nuclear power, which right here says 20% of the electricity comes from nuclear power plants. And some of the negative effects create radioactive waste. We also have materials can remain radioactive for years, and it needs proper storage with their radioactive waste. Incidents like Chernobyl in Europe, and also Japanese, proper care has to be taken in order to dispose these radioactive wastes. And these stuff obviously are not good for the environment. So, I just have some points down here that's kind of pointed out. Right here, it says right here, we ran out of oil. We all know how high, how gas prices are high nowadays because the barrel is pretty much high. And also the effects and the emissions on the environment, and also some of the problems. The problem that we face if left unchanged, if we don't do anything about it. Some of these problems include like the plant life, and the whole animal ecosystem could be changed dynamically. And we also have global warming, like I mentioned. You have droughts, and the melting glaciers which increases sea level. And ultimately you have more hurricanes and bad weathers. And with global temperature changing, certain animals and plant life might not be able to adapt, and they might die out, which affect the food web of other animals, and basically can lead to extinctions of animals. And with non-renewable energy is often obtained through the destruction of natural habitats and landscapes. And you're probably wondering why you guys should care. Well, I feel like we have to start supporting politicians that implement non-renewable policies into their program. So when they take office, they'll be able to take action. And with the renewable energy, it's one of the main renewable energy. We have biomass, from geothermal to hydropower, and you guys all know solar and wind power. So I'd like to provide more examples of these different types of renewable energies. With the biomass, it provides 4% of U.S. energy, And this type of energy, this type of alternative energy is more fuel-based, from wood to crops to manure, which are basically waste that can be, properly, through the proper procedures, they can be implemented to producing energy. And also geothermal comes from the heat from the earth. It produces from the earth's core. It can be hotter than the surface of the sun, from volcanoes to hot springs, and that's pretty much it. And we have states like California has adopted geothermal form of energy. They say 35% of their power plants come from geothermal power plants. And the hydropower, it pretty much is water. And it says 77% of total U.S. energy, and it's the oldest form of the energy relaxing the water cycle. And it says right here, most hydropower plants are located in Washington, Oregon, California. Why most is hydropower? The hydropower pretty much wasn't started to produce energy. It was pretty much set up just to control the water cycle, but they figured at the end it could be used to produce energy because water is like 800 times denser than water. The water is 800 times denser than air, which could be able to capture more energy. And with solar, we have the heat and electricity. And solar energy is anywhere the sun is pretty much, and you can use to provide energy at homes. We can use the solar panels, can be used to cool the house or warm the house. So it's a pretty efficient method. And wind power, it says right here, less than 2% of the U.S. electricity have enough to serve 4.6 million houses on the state of Colorado, which is a pretty big deal. And it's the most popular form of energy is the wind. And since 2006, several states have adopted wind power policy, including Texas, Iowa, California, Minnesota, and Washington. I mean, when we start talking about renewable energy, some of the main concerns is pretty much the transition period. And everybody, asks about it's going to cost a lot of money to implement these non-renewable energy. And I mean, I can understand that, but I mean, the benefits overall is going to benefit a lot of the world, you could say. And some of the benefits that I have here is unlimited supply, because I mean, obviously it's not renewable. And then you don't have to worry about no electric costs, no depletion of natural resources. And obviously we don't have to rely on foreign nations to supply us with oil, which can say a lot, because I feel like the U.S. always have to stick their noses into foreign policies in different countries just for the sake of oil. So and like I said, the cost is going to cost, but I mean, once they have these systems implemented, they can pretty much pay themselves over time. And I just have this right here saying, like, the story time is imagine living in a community when you don't have to worry, which is completely powered and sustained by non-renewable energy. There's no air pollution, there's no harmful emissions. So I'm just saying, like, imagine a society living in like that when you don't have to worry about pollution or any other thing with energy. So that's the end of my presentation. If you guys have any questions? All right, thank you for being such a nice audience. You guys have a good night.